Hey you, yes you. I see you there laying on your sofa with a bunch of snacks laying all around you. I know that those can be good companions sometimes, but today I'm going to be showing you something that might change your mind. Because today we're going to be talking about 10 different Chinese snacks, all the way from old school up until new school. So in the future you might have some new companions that you can have with you on the couch while you're watching our YouTube videos. So let's get started with some of the old school snacks. Alright guys, so the first old school snack that we're going to be talking about is this, which is Tanghulu, which is a very popular northern Chinese snack, but is also popular all over the country, especially among children. This is basically the superstar of Chinese snacks. So when you buy this type of snack, there's probably gonna be some paper on the outside to protect the sugar coating that they have on the outside of the strawberries. So before you eat it, I recommend that you take off the paper. Otherwise, it might be a very unique flavor. It's a very soft and crunchy texture. The softness of the strawberries, it's very, very soft. I think that it might be because it's been cooked in the sugar, but the strawberries are so soft, much softer than typical strawberries that you would eat raw. These basically melt in your mouth, so very delicious. And you also have the crunch of the sugar on the outside. This sort of caramelized sugar creates a very nice crunch and sweet flavor in your mouth. Very, very delicious. It's no wonder why so many children in China like this snack. The strawberries are the most classic sort of fruit used to make the Tanghulu. But on the streets and in supermarkets here in China, you can also find many different flavors. They're a little bit smaller and a little bit more unique, but they have many different flavors. Like obviously you have grapes here, you have blueberries. They use the sugar to basically coat the outside of many different types of fruit and then put them on skewers. And so they make very delicious snacks. So the legend of the Tanghulu starts back all the way from the Song dynasty. So once, an imperial concubine of Emperor Guangzong became very sick, and the physician failed to find a treatment for her. But then, a doctor from the outside was able to use this sweet treat to cure whatever disease that she had. It's a great story, but I think that she probably just wanted something sweet to eat. So guys out there, if your girlfriend ever gets angry and you're trying to find a way to please her and make her feel better, you could always buy some Gucci or some Prada, some kind of purse, but I recommend that you use this. Because the bags, they might make her feel good from the outside, but something like this, once she eats it, she'll feel sweet and nice on the inside. And that's what we're looking for, right? So this next one looks a little bit weird, almost like two ropes twisted together. But once you try it, that sort of hard and crunchy texture in your mouth, it's amazing. This is ma hua, fried dough twist. Yeah, so it's a little bit hard at the beginning, very chewy, so be careful with your teeth. But the longer that you chew it, the softer it becomes, and the flavor on top is just incredible. These ma hua have a very spicy and numbing flavor to them, but these actually come in many different types of flavors, with the most popular being the sweet and the salty one. Now, this is something that originated in the province of Shanxi, but the most famous city for this snack is actually Tianjin. It's a very, very big city in the eastern part of China. So if you ever have a chance to go there, I highly recommend that you try the sweet and the salty flavors. You don't want to leave any regrets behind just for a couple extra dollars. Speaking of this, hey Luca, why don't you make ma hua sometime? Ma hua, ma hua, ma hua.
Okay.
All right, so the next old school snack that we're going to be talking about is something that has a history of over hundreds of years. Way, way, way older than you and I. And it's probably something that you can find at any Asian supermarket close to you. And that's going to be Sachima. Now this is sort of a fried dough little snack. So I've been to a colleague's house before and I had this snack just once and now I'm addicted. It reminds me of sort of a snack that we have in the United States called a Rice Krispie treat, just with the sort of shape and the outer look of it. But this is very soft. It has a very strong egg flavor to it as well. It's sweet, but not too sweet. A little bit of sweetness, but not as much sugar, and a very strong egg flavor because of the eggs they use to cook it. So this is actually not the only flavor of the Sachima. Because China is such a big place, all over the country you can find different unique flavors to this snack. So some areas of China, they even add dried fruit into the Sachima, which even adds sort of a very unique sweet flavor to it. Not so much of a sugar sweet flavor, but more of a natural fruity flavor. This sugary snack actually originated in northeastern China, and it's said to have been an energy bar for China's Manchu army when they were trying to defeat the Ming dynasty in the 1600s. And after that, it spread throughout the entire country. And now, even some Chinese people, they use it to greet guests when they come and visit their homes and things like this. So the next one that we're going to be talking about is haw flakes, or in Chinese, shanjiabing or sanjiapian. And these are made using the Chinese hawthorn. So these pale and dark candies are usually made into round discs like this, as you can see. All right, guys, so there's a very sweet and also a very sour flavor to that as well. The sourness comes from that Chinese hawthorn that they've used to make it, and the sweetness obviously comes from the sugar that's added. So the sweet and sour flavor of this kind of reminds me of a story from my Chinese colleague. He told me before that when he was a kid, whenever his grandmother used to give him Chinese medicine, she would always give him some of these haw flakes. And the reason for that is because Chinese medicine is so bitter. If you've never had Chinese medicine before, trust me, it's one of the most bitter flavors that you can have. So because of the sweet and the sourness of the haw flakes, it really sort of helped to minimize the bitterness from the Chinese medicine and helped him to accept the medicine when he had to. So actually, because of its sour flavor, it's said that many ancient Chinese doctors used to prescribe this to people with stomach issues. All right, so the next old school snack that we have is the walnut crisp, or basically a walnut cookie, or in Chinese, 桃酥. The sort of crispy texture along with the fluffiness makes for a very good cookie. Reminds me of some of like the sugar cookies or something that we have abroad, but it also has a very strong walnut and sort of nutty flavor. During the Tang Dynasty, many people that were living outside of the town of Jingde actually moved inside of the town to become potters. And one day, one of the workers actually decided to cook some of the flour dough that he was using on the outside of the kiln. So because at the time he had sort of a coughing sickness, he decided to add some walnuts on the outside to sort of help with healing the sickness. And after all the other potters got a taste of that unique, very delicious cookie, they couldn't get enough of it, and eventually just slowly spread across the country from person to person and became the legendary snack that we have today, which is the walnut crisp. All right, guys, so the last old school snack that we have today is actually one of my personal favorites, and it's another snack with over 1,000 years of history, and that is guoba, scorched rice. So the scorched rice is a very crunchy snack with a very unique and very hard texture. So guoba, or scorched rice, is very popular among Chinese people and Chinese snacks, especially here in Sichuan and Chongqing. So the flavor we have today is an onion flavor, but they come in very, very different kinds of flavors, like cheese flavor or even spicy flavor. So initially, guoba was made from the leftover rice cooked in a very big pan or wok. So after the rice was all cooked, the chef basically would take out the leftover rice and the hard pieces, you could eat it as a snack. But as it became more and more popular, it became commercialized, and eventually they started creating the shapes like the fence shape that we have here today. So some people have even tried to promote guoba as the Chinese potato chips, but the culture just doesn't fit very properly. So guoba has actually been consumed since the beginning of the Jin Dynasty, which was around 266 AD, according to a new account of the Tales of the World, a compilation of character sketches and anecdotes from the 1st to the 6th century. In one story, filial army officer Chen Yi from the Wu state was hoarding these crusts for his mother, a guoba lover, until a sudden war broke out and sent his army scurrying to the mountain. There, he learned to survive only on guoba. So, buy the guoba for your mother in order to show your love for her instead of potato chips. All right, guys, so now we've tried all of the old school snacks that we're gonna try today. We tried the Tanghulu, Sachima, mahua fried dough twists. We also had the walnut crisps. We had the haw flakes, and last we had guoba, and now we're gonna try 4 of the most popular new school snacks here in China. All right, so the first new school snack that we have today is the walnut slices. It is made from glutinous rice, walnuts, sugar, and honey. Yes, Chinese people, they love walnut because from the perspective of Chinese traditional medicine, walnuts are considered a type of brain food. It's very soft. Glutinous rice is using basically powder, so it's very soft in your mouth, very easy to chew, and it basically falls apart as you chew it. Very sweet, but also with the nutty flavor from the walnut, it's not too sweet. All right, so this was invented in 1895. What? You don't think it's new school because it was invented 100 years ago? Come on, we just introduced a 1,000-year-old snack. This is definitely considered new school. So, all right, so back to the story. So in 1895, in Hechuan, Chongqing, these were invented by some vendors there. And it even got a gold medal in the 1915 Panama Pacific International Expo. You can imagine the judges' faces when they tried this one. All right, guys, and one thing to remember when you buy these snacks, they can sometimes stick together, but they're also made in very thin slices, so you can also take them apart if you want to eat them individually. All right, so the next new school snack is also made of rice. So I think by now you can tell Chinese people really love their rice. The next one is mihuatang, swelled candy rice. Very crunchy, very dry, a bit sweet, but also sort of a savory flavor from the sesame seeds that are on the top of the rice. There's also a nutty flavor to this because there's small pieces of peanuts inside of it too. So this is actually a time-honored snack in the area of Jiangjin with a history of nearly 100 years. Jiangjin rice candy was originally Taihejai rice candy, which was created in 1910. Then, in the 1950s, the Jiangjin swelled rice candy basically started becoming exported to places like Hong Kong and Southeast Asia. And ever since then, it's been growing and growing in popularity. So if you love rice, make sure you go out and buy this. You definitely won't regret it. So the next one is a very, very young snack, which was just invented in 1998, but it's quickly become one of the most popular snacks across all of China. La tiao, or literally translated as spicy stick or spicy bar. Now these are so popular that it sells almost $600 million every year. So the first time that I saw this, I thought it was made from some animal parts or something like this. But actually, it's just made from wheat flour and spicy oil. So they're actually a little bit salty and not too spicy. They're a little bit spicy. Obviously, if you look up close, you can see sort of the chili flakes and things on the outside, but very delicious, very, very savory and very spicy too. So the la tiao, like I said before, was invented in 1998 by the people from the Pingjiang County of Hunan Province. The flood that happened that year destroyed their entire spicy sauce business because all the soybeans were lost. So during that time, 3 of the local people invented this dish to sort of save the industry and to be able to use the ingredients that they had at the time, which was wheat flour and the spicy oil. After that, the local people found a new business and everyone was prospering and living happy again. All right, guys, so the last new school snack that we're gonna introduce today is probably one of the most iconic and most famous Chinese snacks of all time. You probably have already heard of this Chinese snack, even if you've never been to China before, and that is the White Rabbit. So the White Rabbit candy is probably the perfect combination of both Eastern and Western candy types. It is so popular that when President Richard Nixon came to visit China, Premier Zhou Enlai at that time used White Rabbit candy as a present for him when he arrived. So guys, when you open it up for the first time, you're gonna notice that there's a very thin piece of paper on the outside. Don't worry about that, you can eat it. So the White Rabbit candy, it's sweet, but it's not very sweet. There's a very strong milk flavor, and so it's very creamy in flavor, but it's not creamy in texture. It's a bit hard, and as you eat it, the more you eat it, the more you chew on it, and the more it absorbs the saliva, the softer that it gets. White Rabbit candy originated in the ABC Candy Factory of Shanghai in 1943. The owner of the ABC Candy Factory got this idea when he met a merchant coming all the way from England and brought milk candies with him. So when he tried it, he just had to make it for himself. After half a year of development, they finally had their own version of this milk candy. The first ABC milk candies were actually manufactured with the red Mickey Mouse on the outer label and were named ABC Mickey Mouse Sweets. Because their prices were lower than some of the other imported products, they became very popular among the locals at that time. But during that time, Mickey Mouse was seen by other people as a symbol of foreign countries. Therefore, the logo eventually became the White Rabbit that we all know and love today. But the amazing thing is that over all this time, the ingredients on the inside almost didn't change at all. All right, guys, so our introduction to Chinese snacks is officially over. I hope that you have more ideas for the next time you have snack time with your friends. If you liked the video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. And if you really want to see our next videos, make sure you turn on the notification bell so that you can get notification the next time we post a new video. I hope to see you at the next video, and we'll see you again.